Just made it to the Miami Springs Gymnasium to see the team play. Hopefully when I come back we have 2 victories, JV and varsity. But next time you see me I'll have some. Emmons, both the JV and the varsity ended up losing. The JV lost in the semifinals and varsity lost in the finals. But they both played hard, they both did a great job, just wasn't their time. It was still fun seeing them play. I'm a little bit under the weather. The game was yesterday. I was supposed to comment on the game after, but ended up getting busy and had a lot of phone calls that I had to make. Had a lot of missed calls that I had to catch back up on. So I didn't give the recap right after the game, but it was fun. Fun watching it in the middle school tournament. Now I'm on my way to train the basketball team. That's my common thing now. It's almost 3 times a week. It will soon be an everyday thing. And like I said, I'm a little bit under the weather, but I won't let that show once I'm there. There's no excuses. And it's nothing contagious, it's just a common cold, so this will go away within a day or 2. And I usually don't get sick too often. I get sick like maybe once or twice a year. And this is my first time of the year, so it is what it is. I have a lot of editing that I have to do tonight because this weekend I'll be in Tampa. Tomorrow morning I'm leaving for Tampa at 6 in the morning, but I don't want to get behind on my editing. Even though I'm ahead with the videos, I still don't want to get behind in my process. I want to keep the process as consistent as possible, so I'll always be ahead of the game or ahead of my own curve. Gives me better control over what I'm doing when I know that, alright, I have a certain amount of things lined up. Gives me better control with the marketing. So after, when I finish training with the team, I have to edit some film. McLean and Pembroke Pine, they rescheduled again. That's the downside of being a personal trainer or having your own business in the health field. You have to deal with a lot of cancellations and cancellations and a lot of rescheduling just because it's life. A lot of things happen, especially when your clients have kids and things. That's an added factor into the schedule. Their son, he was in he was in Boston for 6 weeks and his flight was delayed, so that played with our timing. And with me doing the basketball and my schedule being all over the place, we have a very small window when we can train, so when something happens to throw off the timing within that window, then we just have to keep rescheduling. But in the beginning of my career, I'm still in the beginning, but at the very beginning, that would be a frustrating thing. And even now, sometimes it gets frustrating where it's like, it's just life where it happens. You can't really fault or be mad at anybody. It's just a matter of, okay, now just pushing it back another day. But with that, there's always work to do. So with that cancellation happening, now I could spend that time, get ahead on the video aspect, and then when everything gets back together, we're a little bit more consistent with my clients and our schedules match up correctly, then everything will be rising at the same time. But that's the negative, or the thing that you have to be aware of when you have your own business. And even when you're selling products, you're gonna have down days, off days when just people can't afford it, when the economy goes bad, when there was a recession. A lot of businesses were hit hard because nobody expected that, or those who weren't aware of the numbers weren't expecting a crash or a drop. And in the health field, when you go to the doctor, whenever you cancel, to you're canceling because you have to based on your schedule, but a lot of times when the doctor, they have a lot of cancellations in the same day. I witnessed this with the physical therapy, at the physical therapy clinic for 2 years. There was a lot of cancellations throughout the day with the various physical therapists. So some days we may have a day where maybe only 2 patients cancel throughout the whole day, and that's a really good day. Or you may have it where there's 7 or 8 or 9 patients that cancel, and then the day seems to be slow and dragged on because there's just a lot of people cancel. But when you're the owner of the business, it hits a little bit harder because, especially in the beginning stage, because that's your source of money, so your payment gets delayed because of the sessions. And I don't want to structure my business on a monthly basis where even if you don't train, you have to pay that amount every month, because then you're punishing the client for life happening. It's like they're not in control over if the flight is delayed or if they're sick or if they have a prior engagement that has to be done. It's not their fault. So I don't want to have my business structure where they're almost getting punished for just life happening. Just one of those things where I just have to manage my money, which I do. Make sure all my bills and necessities are paid off first. Once those are paid off and I have money saved for a rainy day, it's just a matter of fighting through it and staying busy, continuing to improve regardless of if it's client base or not. That's another reason why I structured my business the way I did, where I'm building the website up so much, doing the content, and the money's not coming in from that yet. But once the brand gets bigger and bigger, then I'll be generating legitimate money from that consistently. That way, I'm not reliable, like I'm not dependent on outside factors.